AM1450 back in studio with me today, Brian Hensley from Intego Financial. Brian, how's it going today?
Not too shabby.
A little bit cooler than maybe it was Sunday, but hopefully you got a chance to grill out.
I didn't get the grill out, but enjoyed the weather, that's for sure.
So, Brian, we've been talking about succession and transition here the last couple of weeks, and we talked about, first getting that conversation going and then getting a team going, and, where are we at now?
Well, I think the next thing to probably talk about is keeping it urgent. Those first two are so important, starting the conversation and building the team. But if we do those things, then we just let it sit and ignore it. Now we're back to having nothing done, but, some good conversation maybe, or conversation that was a little more difficult. So it's important that we start keeping this urgent.
So what do we have to do? What's our steps that we have to take?
Well, I think you have to start prioritizing where this fits on the farm's importance level. And the first thing we have to do is establish that it is important. So there's things every day that we do that are important. And in farming, there's a few of those, the spraying, the planting, the harvesting. They're important. They've got to be done, so we do those. But this estate planning, succession planning, it's one of those things you can just set aside maybe and think, okay, I'll get to that later because, it isn't something that you see in front of you. But it's just as important as those others. And into the long term of the future, it may be more important than, a little mistake here, a little mistake there. So it's important that we decide it is important and then keep it urgent.
Brian, why does this get avoided?
Well, first off, it's easy to avoid. It's not something we see. But, secondly, this is a tough topic. This is talking about the mortality of the farmer and his family, and there might be issues that he hasn't addressed himself about what the farm will be like without him. And if he's ill-prepared for that, then it's a scary issue. But there's other people that are involved in this farm. The kids may be coming back, or just the value of the farm. And so by taking a look at it, he can accomplish a lot. But it's a lot easier to just avoid this one because no one's going to notice if you avoid it until it's too late and you're not here to see the ramifications of that avoidance.
There's a lot of things in everyday life that it's just easier to kind of procrastinate and go, oh, I'll worry about that later. And that's kind of what this is.
It is. But if you think about the whole farm and the family, I think every farmer wants that farm to continue. Whether it's his kids that come back or whether, there's no kids coming back to the farm, but maybe helping a young new farmer get started or, finding the right guy to take over the land. The farmers have so much passion for their land. They care about it. They want it to be taken care of properly. And so by starting this process and keeping it urgent, they get to decide what's going to happen to that versus just avoiding the issue. And then who knows what's going to happen from there. And a lot of times we hear the stories. They're not pretty of what happens if farmers don't take control of the issue.
And that's where you step in. You're there to kind of get everybody talking and keeping it moving.
I do, and this isn't as complicated as some people want to make it. We start with the basics of what the family wants. What are their goals? What do the kids want? We talk through that, and then we start talking about how we accomplish that goal. We build the bridge to get there. And so, we've got to start that conversation. You got to build your team, and you got to keep it urgent. But we can help that process. You don't have to know how to do it yourself. I've helped a lot of families through this. There's a lot of great experts in the area we can bring in and put on your team. And it's got to be your decision that you want to do it or that, you need to help parents maybe make that decision to do this. But it's something you've got to be a part of.
And, the first step is, and we've talked about this quite a bit, is just having that initial conversation. And that's tough as well.
It is. But, we try to make it easy. This isn't going to be some big inquisition. We're going to sit down on the farm, talk about what you want, talk about how you got the farm started, how others helped get you involved, whether it was parents or grandparents, and things that went well and things that didn't. And then we're going to go to what do we want out of the farm. And I'm going to ask lots of questions. And we're going to just see if we can paint a picture of what the farm could look like in that next couple generations down the road. And then it's our job, your team's job, to help get that to you, to figure out how to put that plan together and for you to be involved throughout the process so it's what you want.
Brian, how many years have you been doing this? How long have you worked with these producers?
Well, I've worked with farmers in different capacities for about 10 years and from different sides of the operation and doing the estate planning. I just spent 5 years with the university working on fundraising in their situations, and so got to understand the estate planning side, and then 10 years with the farmer and finally got the opportunity to merge these things together. So it's been great. I've been at it about 3 years and up here in the southern Minnesota area now for about 6 months.
So you've had a lot of opportunities to hear different producers ideas of where they want that farm to go, and everybody's got a different road.
And that's been what I love about this is there's no preset plan. Everybody gets to define their own. And they define that by looking at what they value and what kids may or may not want to come back and how we're going to do that. And there's no one family fits every situation or one solution fits every family. We've got to hand carve this thing out, and we're going to do that together to make it work.
So they can give you a call at Intego Financial and Donna Nelson Insurance.
Yep, that number is 874-3419, or they can go on the website, integofinancial.com.
Brian, thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you a little later on this week.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Brian Hensley with me today with Intego Financial.